Hello, friends. Today, I wanted to talk about how you can stay stuck in depression after trauma, whether it's from a relationship with a narcissist in your adult life, or if you grew up in or with childhood trauma. You can wind up staying stuck in certain emotional states. And the frustrating thing is you can be out of those toxic relationships, and those emotional states make you still feel like you're suffering as if that toxic person is still in your life. So if you struggle with depression, if you struggle with feeling happy or feeling safe to be happy, you're going to want to watch this video. For those that don't know me, my name is Michelle. I'm a life and relationship coach. I'm also the founder of the Thriver School of Transformation, which is a monthly membership where we meet live on Zoom weekly, and we work through the side effects of childhood trauma, complex PTSD, and narcissistic abuse together. The doors to enrollment are currently closed, but watch for the first week in February 1st to the 5th. They will be open for 5 days. Okay, so talking about depression after trauma. I remember I did a video probably my first year on YouTube, and it was really at the beginning of my own healing journey. And the video was called Black Cloud Syndrome. And what I was starting to articulate, which I really fully didn't understand at the time, was the reality that if you were in a relationship with somebody that punished you when you were happy, that anytime things were peaceful, blew up, because that's what it's like if you're in a relationship with a toxic person, especially one that's high on the scale of NPD. Your subconscious mind is conditioned to stay in a certain emotional state. Okay, so again, narcissistic abuse and parents that were narcissistic wind up conditioning you to feel and be a certain way. I've had clients that told me, Michelle, I had to have a specific tone of voice. And some of them were still stuck in their adult life in that tone of voice. And you can almost hear it as they're talking. You could almost hear this, like this way of being where they just could only be at a certain, I don't know, octave or a certain emotional level that they were allowed to be in. That's where their voice stayed. It's the same thing with emotions. If you were happy in childhood, every time you were happy, you were criticized, you were yelled at, you were punished, you were shamed. Your subconscious and your nervous system learns happy is bad, happy is dangerous. And then it goes into work to kind of suppress happiness in your life. And when you've lived like that for a long time, you can be an adult and all you feel is depression. And you can get medicine. Some people go and they take medicine, and I'm not saying anything about anyone that has to go on medication, because sometimes we have to get the symptoms manageable so that then we can do the inner work to heal. But the medication that people go on for depression doesn't cure the depression. I've never met anybody that went on depression medicine and was like, yes, I was on that for 6 months and now I'm amazing. And again, I'm not saying to anyone to stop taking your medications, but what I am saying is that if you are on medication and you feel like your depression isn't going away, it's because something more is needed. If your nervous system and your subconscious mind has been programmed to not feel certain things, now your body is on a pattern of giving you a certain emotional state. So you wake up in the morning, and what does your subconscious say? Well, it's like, well, it's morning. What does Michelle feel? It's depression. Boom. And it gives me the chemical signature of depression in my body. So then I feel that in my body. I feel those hormones. I feel that feeling of depression. And I'm like, well, why am I depressed? And then my mind is like, oh, I'm depressed. And what does the mind want to do? It wants to make sense out of it. So then it starts giving me all these reasons as to why I'm depressed. Oh, because in childhood this happened, and then this happened, and look what this happened, and you tried this, and this happened, and this happened. And now my body and my thoughts are feeding and keeping the depression alive and strong. And that would take place even if I left any relationship that caused the depression in the first place. So what I'm trying to say is that leaving somebody toxic isn't going to make your depression go away. It's going to stop them from further abusing you in person. But then the next step is about really doing the inner work to teach your body that happiness is safe. And I say that because we can know that on a conscious level. We can leave a toxic relationship and be like, oh, I'm so happy I'm allowed to be myself now. I'm allowed to be, silly. I'm allowed to laugh. I'm allowed to feel peaceful. And on a logical level, we know that, but our subconscious is not always on the same page as our conscious mind. And so we go to do things that we love. And that's when our subconscious kicks on. And because our subconscious is so intertwined with our survival, okay, with our brains' number one mission is to keep you alive, keep me alive. It's not as concerned with my happiness as it is with my survival, my subconscious mind anyway. My conscious mind is very much interested in my happiness. But if consciously I want to do things that are imprinted in my subconscious to be dangerous, then the subconscious has more power. And that's the hard part, because you're healing, right? You've gone through enough of being with somebody that hurt you, that made you feel depressed. Now you're out of the relationship and it's almost like you're fighting you on the inside. At least that's what it feels like. So if that's your case, okay, I want to encourage you, first of all, to understand that time is not what's going to heal these things. Time is not going to help you to get back to the person you know you are on the inside. Time is not going to remove the depression that was conditioned to be in you by somebody toxic. You're going to have to do the inner work to retrain your nervous system and retrain your subconscious beliefs. And it does take work. I'm not going to lie. It takes dedication. It takes patience. It takes persistence. But I always say the alternative is you are with somebody that kind of put you in this broken emotional state of depression. And if you don't do the inner work, the only alternative is to stay in that. And I don't know about you, but that was not what I wanted to do. I knew that wasn't me. And I wanted to get back to who I really am. And so it was all about learning how to work through the subconscious and learn how to train your body to feel safe, feeling different things. And then another challenge when you're doing this is that you have to be willing to be comfortable in discomfort. Because as you're healing, it gets uncomfortable. And the reason for that is because the subconscious mind, its job is to keep you, you. And if your subconscious was infiltrated and the belief, I am depressed and I'm always going to be depressed, I'm never going to be happy, I'm not allowed to be happy, it's dangerous to be happy. If all of those beliefs are in your subconscious, every time you start living outside of the bounds of those beliefs, your subconscious kicks on by sending you hormones that cause you to feel stress and discomfort. So it gets worse before it gets better in a sense, but you can train your nervous system and your subconscious mind to be, feel, and think what you really want in alignment with who you really are. So I'm putting this video out there for anyone that's suffering with depression, even if it's been years or decades that they've been out of a relationship. It's time to go within. It's time to upgrade the beliefs that were put inside of you. It's the frustrating part because if it happened in childhood, like we've physically grown, right? It would be nice if our subconscious grew with us, but it doesn't. it literally stays in the program that it had. You think of a computer. Somebody has a computer and they put certain programs in it, and they have that computer for years. It could be 10, 15 years. Anytime they turn on that computer, it's not going to have the updated or up-to-date programs that exist unless you put them in the computer. Our subconscious mind is like that. And I know a lot of people don't like to view their mind as like a computer. Your conscious mind isn't like that, but your subconscious is. And if you don't understand that, then you're going to wind up staying stuck in the same cycle. So that being said, if anyone is struggling to break out of the beliefs and the emotional states that were put in them because of trauma, make sure you check out the first week in February when we reopen the doors to the Thriver School of Transformation, because that's what we do. And the benefit of the school, which is $79.99, and there are 9 to 12 meetings a month live. And the benefit of that is the consistency that helps rewire the subconscious mind. We can't learn something once and expect it to penetrate the subconscious mind or to break out of the imprints that are there. It's the consistency, the repetition plus emotion that really helps. So if you need that extra help, that is available when the doors open the first week in February.